Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to install a M.2 drive into my computer. Okay, this is the computer here that we're going to install the hard drive into. So I've got a hard drive here. This is a gigabyte Aorus 1TB M.2 NVMe drive. So we'll run through the steps of installing this drive into the computer, and we'll also run through the steps to install Windows 10. First thing we need to do is just get into the computer case itself. So we'll just access that by undoing these screws to the side panel. And with the side panel removed, we'll just lay the case on its side. So this is the motherboard here that we'll install the M.2 drive into. Now this motherboard has two slots for M.2 drives. We've got one down here just under this graphics card here, and I've also got another drive which is installed into the other slot, which you can see just below the CPU cooler there. Now I'm also running two serial ATA drives here. Now I've got one spinning disk here which I just use for music, and I've just got another drive here which is an SSD drive which I just use for storage, and they're currently plugged into the serial ATA slots that you can see down there. And this new M.2 drive will be installing into this slot here. Now I don't know if you can read that, but that label says M.2H 32G, and that's the M.2 connector. Now you're probably wondering why I'm pointing out serial ATA connectors and the label of the slot, and I'll show you. Now we'll just go over to our manual here. This is the bit I hate actually, but in this case it's actually quite handy. So I've pointed out that I've got two serial ATA drives in the computer. Those serial ATA ports actually have an effect on the M.2 connector speeds. So it's something to just check over anyway when you're installing your new M.2 drive. Now I've got a table here, and it shows each of the serial ATA connectors or ports on the motherboard, and it also shows both M.2 connectors on the motherboard. Now we are going to install the new M.2 drive into M.2H 32G, and I've currently got a drive plugged into M.2D 32G. Now I'll just show you something, and if we read through this table here, you'll see how the serial ATA ports affect the M.2 speeds. Now for example, I've got the drives plugged into 4 and 5. If we look at 4 and 5 on the table here, we can see that both PCIe 4 times and 2 times both are supported. But say if I had them plugged into 0 and 1, we can see times 4 is disabled, but the 2 times is supported. So that's the reason why you want to check your manual. Now this new drive I'm installing is a faster M.2 drive. I'm going to be plugging it into this connector. Now the reason why I'm doing that is the 4 times and 2 times speed are both supported no matter what serial ATA connector is used. So what that means is, say that I plug in a serial ATA drive in the future and I've forgotten about this table, that won't have any effect on my new drive. I'm going to have to remove this graphics card to get access to this slot down here. Once this graphics card comes out, I'll just find an anti-static bag to put it into, just so it's safe while it's out of the computer. Now I like to be a little bit careful with static electricity when working around computer components. So what I do is I leave the mains plug into the power supply. It's off at the power supply, and I have the other end plugged in to the mains but off at the mains here. That way the computer is grounded, so if I am holding any static electricity I just need to ground myself and that'll get rid of that. So just ground yourself by touching a metal part on the computer here. Okay, and that gives us access to this M.2 slot here. Right, so we'll get this drive installed. So we've got access to the M.2 slot here. So we've got the slot there. We've also got 3 mounting screw holes, and you've got a screw and a standoff there. This will be set correctly for the size of drive, but if your drive is smaller in height, you've also got these 2 options here. Okay, so we'll just open this up. Right, you'll notice this drive doesn't have a heatsink on it. What it does have though is a copper label, so it's sort of like a heat transfer strip. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but when it's installed in my computer, if it is a problem, I'll just buy a heatsink for it. To install the M.2 drive, you just need to pop it in roughly about a 35-degree angle and then just push it in. Then you just need to make sure that this back hole lines up, and then we just need to screw it down. Now you don't have to crank the screw up, you just need to basically nip it so it's holding the drive, but done up enough so it doesn't come loose. Now what I'm going to do also, just while I've got the drives exposed here, is I'm just going to remove this old one, because this one is my current C drive install, and I'll install the new operating system on the new drive, but I just want to make sure I don't accidentally wipe this current drive. We'll just get this graphics card installed so we can install our operating system. Okay guys, we've successfully installed a M.2 drive into this computer. Now I was going to show you how to install Windows 10, so just going through the process of creating a bootable USB stick and installing the operating system from there, but I thought I'll split the video up into 2 parts. We've got quite a bit of footage just of this M.2 install, so keep an eye out for the second part, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.